Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Growth Amplifiers, where we continue to provide some insights and perspective to help you sharpen the saw and continue taking new actions to achieve new results. We've got an awesome guest today who is really one of the top business advisors that provides transformation to those she serves. Before we get into our main topic of today, I'm going to share a little bit about this past weekend. I was out with my family. We went fishing. There's my wife Kathy and my son Kenny, and on the left, and my son Michael on the right. And you would think that if you were going to go fishing, you say, "Oh, I just need to find a pond and have a fishing rod and put a hook on it, maybe a worm, and we should be able to catch fish." In theory, I guess you can catch fish that way. However, there's a lot of different things that you need to be aware of that you might not know if you're not experienced in fishing. Where to go to fish, how to cast your line, how the type of bait to use, the time of day to go fishing. There's a lot of different techniques in order to really get the best result. And that's what we're going to be kind of diving in today, because when it comes to your business, you may know some of the basic things you need to do to keep your books in order and plan for your business. But it's those little differences that a guide can help you get a fresh perspective on. So our guest today is an amazing person. She's the owner and creator of Brilliant Solutions Group. She's a QuickBooks ProAdvisor, an accountant helping small, medium-sized businesses streamline their financial and processes and reporting. As the owner of Brilliant Solutions Group, they exist to provide client-centered bookkeeping, accounting, and tax preparation services that provide financial clarity, allowing small to mid-sized businesses to grow. And she's the proud winner of Top 100 ProAdvisor multi-years, and she's multi-certified in a lot of different things. I'd like to welcome to Growth Amplifiers, Mariko. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and share all the things that I have learned all these years. And it's very exciting to be on. Thank you.
So Mariko Hayashi-Hall, if you want to learn more about her and her business, you can go to brilliantsolutionsgroup.com. And we're going to start off just getting to know a little bit more about you, because you've been doing this for quite some time. And you've got an outstanding background from getting involved, really learning the process. But one thing I really find impressive about your background is you continue to gain new certifications and knowledge. You didn't just say, "All right, got that, check it off." You said, "I'm going to continue to grow and sharpen the saw." So if you wouldn't mind sharing us a little bit about your journey and how you got to be where you are today.
Okay. I started my business in 2000. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was working as a vice president of administration in Industry Bank of Japan. And before that, I was an auditor for Chicago Department of Revenue. And that's where I saw all these small businesses that they needed someone to guide them through, because some of them didn't even know what financial statement was coming into being audited. So I always wanted to be a guide to a small business and help them with maybe what I know and with accounting and bookkeeping. But, I was in a corporate mindset. So, right. So, that was just a dream. Mm-hmm. And then in 1999, Japanese economy flipped, right? So, mm-hmm. And then the bank closed and they went bankrupt. So I was left with, nothing to do. And so in a casual conversation, I met someone mentioned that into it all for the ProAdvisors program. So I went and I learned and everything. And I'm not a salesperson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of put off by, I have to sell my services. But then my husband said, "Oh, try it. You're good at this." So I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to." I jumped in and I became pro advisor. And then I try to learn everything that I can about the QuickBooks, point of sale, desktop, and everything. And I never stopped learning. That's one key that you can't stop, right? You can't be
Right.
satisfied. You always have to learn. So then I opened my business, and now I have pretty successful business, and I have client in United States as well as Canada, and I have one client in Finland. So this is possibility is endless.
That's is really cool. And one thing I like about what you said, you weren't very comfortable with sales,
No.
but when you shift to put your client's needs as the focus,
Yes.
and you say, I know there's people that I can help. When you aim to help people, it kind of has that natural effect of now people understand that you can be a guide to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And the need to sell kind of moves away. You don't have to be a good salesperson. You still need to know how to negotiate and work through concluding a sales agreement, but you don't have to be that pushy salesperson that's trying to push your services on other people.
Yeah, when you're selling your services, I think it's more of a relationship building,
Mm-hmm.
not sales, but getting to know someone and getting to know your client's need, and you can be there to solve their problem, right? And it
Yes.
makes me feel good when they say, "Oh, you helped me so much,"
Yes.
And so that's that's what keeps me going.
I love that. That is one of the things that really gets me ticking in growth amplifiers is seeing that transformation.
Yeah.
I had the experience working for a large advertising agency prior,
Mm-hmm.
and they're working on large global accounts with huge budgets, multi-million-dollar budgets, which was cool and interesting, but I always felt kind of like disconnected from the end user, where now when I'm working with someone, I get to see that person, that individual, that entrepreneur, and see them have that transformation, and that those thank yous, this has been really helpful, are the things that fuel my fire. So that's really awesome to hear that from you.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. It's very good.
So we're going to go into the big three today, and we kind of just talk about these talking points
Sure.
as we're listening to viewers understand kind of what's changing out there in the market and what they should be paying attention to. So the first thing we'll dive into in just a moment is the dark side of tech. Technology could be your friend, but if you're not using it correctly, it could work against you.
Yeah.
Number two, how to differentiate your business and stand out from the competition. Now, there is an abundant world of opportunity. However, we do want to differentiate ourselves from others. Otherwise, we can be perceived as a commodity. And then number three, how to excite and ascend your customers so that you're providing more value to them and you're also growing as well. It's a win-win. So we'll start off with this first one.
First
Talking.
one, you know, technology has changed, right? It's been
Mm-hmm.
disruptive, very disruptive because with the COVID and everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
And demand and approach is very different now. Everybody is on the phone, since 2000, I think 2021, 85% of people had a smartphone, and they like to do everything on the smartphone now, right? So
Right.
everything has changed. And then you have to be available any way that they want to touch you.
Right.
So if it's, phone, Facebook, Twitter, text, email, phone call, I mean, you have to be there. Those are the things that I think is very important. And I realized all industry had been touched with this, but more so in accounting industry.
Right.
Right?
There's a parallel. This is one of the reasons I've been gearing to connect with other people, accountants and professionals and bookkeepers, because the same thing had happened to my industry. 10 years ago, I was a web designer and doing a lot of marketing and web design myself. And you needed to know your stuff. You needed to know a lot of code. You needed to have the right software. It wasn't quick or easy to come into the space and build a really nice website. 10 years later, now it's really easy for a lot of people to build a nice looking usable website, and sometimes it's even free.
Yeah.
Now there's still some things that it would be helpful to work with a professional to do, but what the value that you bring to the relationship has changed. And the same thing in the accounting space, right? That there's a lot of software that's
Everything
automating.
is being automated here.
Yes.
And and AI and automation and mostly bookkeeping, kind of transactional accounting and a bookkeeping. Those are done by machine now, right? AI. But one caveat on that is AI and everything can help us, but you still have to have the last human look through.
Right.
There has to be a human interaction at the end of it, because AI can be very good and it's a possibility, but it's not there yet. They can't do everything.
No,
But it is very convenient. And so most of the people that start out entrepreneurs, they'll get the QuickBooks online, and then they sort of help you make that mistake too, because it's so easy, right? And then they'll connect the application and the banks, and they'll bring in all the transaction, and automatically, boom, magic. But then when it comes to the end of the year, when they find out, oops, this doesn't look right. And then that's when they come to us and say, help us. But then everything has to be configured. Everything has to be set up and correctly. And then it would be almost no-brainer, right? You can just automatically keep up a few things, and things will roll along, and maybe you can have us look at it maybe every 6 months, and to make sure it's going right. That would be good. But then if you wait a whole year and then come to us, it's going to cost about 3 times as much for us to get it straightened out, right?
It's
so everything
cleaning up a mess, right?
Right. So you have to know what your purpose is and what your tool is and how you're going to use it, and all those things have to be set up when you first start. You can't just start just like putting clothes in the wash machine, and then when it's finished, you're going to put the detergent in. That's not going to work.
And there's the things like we're talking about the fishing, right? There's some things that you may not even realize that you could do, or decisions you could make better if you weren't working with a guide like yourself. So the dark side here, if you're tuning in, everyone, is to think, oh, I've got this. Oh, I know I've got this. It's good how it is, and there's not any opportunity to improve it. So that's where I want everyone to reconsider. There's always an opportunity to amplify. There's always an opportunity to improve something. And that's why I think it's so valuable to work with a guide that has that knowledge and experience to really look at the details, the foundations. Because if you don't have that set up, or if you're not looking ahead with the right perspective, you could definitely get yourself into a pickle. And it could be so much more costly, like we were saying, to go backwards and try to clean that up.
Yeah. And everything gonna be automated soon, especially on the compliance side. All the taxes, sales tax is almost automated. And everything gonna be automated. So, it is coming.
Right.
But you still need to know exactly where you are and where you're going and what is your purpose. So you can have someone to guide you through. And what we do, we consult people from entity selection to all the way to taxes. So in between, everything we do a la carte. So whatever you need us, we are there to help.
So speaking of that, because not every firm does that, and that is one way that you differentiate, is being able to say, let's help you out, kind of like from a holistic approach, and not just check off the box and say, that's good, but let's look at the big picture. In
whole
regards
journey, that's what you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So
and I know that people always talk about having a niche, right? I've been preached by Joe Woodard.
Right.
You have to have a niche, you have to have, but I really think someone, especially small business, they need someone they can go to and call and talk to whatever the problem they're having on their journey, right? Not just, okay, I'm going to talk to this person for incorporation, and then I'm going to talk to this person for bookkeeping, and this person for sales. It has to be someone who can go and talk to them, like, trusted advisor. They can talk to you about everything. They can talk to me about spirituality. Because I'm old enough to know how that works.
So that's a good point. So I'm a big advocate for having a guide to help you from where you're at to where you want to go. Now that guide might be able to help you if they find, hey, look, you actually need a little bit of special attention in this area. That's not where our expertise is, but now we can help guide you in the right direction. But at least you're getting someone that really understands you to work with you. And I'm going to put this clearly for those tuning in. If you're not working with a guide to help you in your business, it is my perspective that you're shortchanging yourself and your potential.
Yeah, because I have a network of people that I work with, right? So if there is something that you need, that I am not privy to know everything. So, I know who can help you.
So think about
where
that.
The information is, how to get to that information, how to get to the expert. I think that's very important, because expert might be just in a narrow focus.
Right.
To know your business, but I know all about your business.
Right.
So I can help you focus. Okay, you need this. I think you should talk to this person. But then I can be a liaison to talk to this person and let them know what your problem is and how your condition is. So it would be facilitated.
Hey there, this is Kenny from Growth Amplifiers, here to ensure you get your awesome ideas into action to grow and improve your business and achieve your full potential. Take the first step by visiting growthamplifiers.com and clicking the Start Here button. Take the assessment to get your personalized score. Then select from free resources to learn how to improve your score. Don't wait. Be proactive and take action now by visiting growthamplifiers.com and clicking the Start Here button. And always keep on amplifying. Now, let's get back to the show. Everyone has a blind spot that they can't see, so having a guide's really helpful. And then when you've got a trusted guide like yourself, then you can help make the recommendations based on their best interests.
Right.
So someone who might be pushing their services, as we were talking about earlier, pushing their services, of course they're going to say what they have to offer is the best thing for you since sliced bread. It's very interesting. We see that in the marketing world. A lot of marketing companies are selling the marketing services that they offer. They're saying that's the best thing.
Yeah, they contact me always.
Right. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do here at Growth Amplifiers is provide that different perspective.
Yes.
Kind of as the trusted guide to say, hey, let's look at the big picture versus let's just start checking off boxes. So I really appreciate that's your approach, because getting behind someone and understanding them and then guiding them with their best with your best intention to their best direction is really the best way to help someone.
Right.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, you need to understand, you have to have a relationship and understand just exactly what it takes for your business. Because each business is very different. Everything is so unique. You have to understand.
So we're going to move to the third and final topic of the big three, and this is how to excite and ascend your customers. And in particular, I've been dialing into this idea of creating a memorable experience. So I went to a conference recently, and it was talking about the value of providing an experience. When you provide a really good experience, people can remember that, and then they'll go and tell their friends.
Yes.
So what are some ways that when you're working with a customer or a client that you aim to provide them with a different experience than they might get from maybe someone else that offers a very similar service?
I think being very responsive and being available is very important, because I have heard my client, my prospect say, I called 3 people and you were only one to answer the phone. And I know that's, seems very simple, but I answer my phone.
Right.
When you need me, you can call me. And I think that makes a lot of difference. You have to be responsible. Some people, especially small business people, it's sort of like side work, right? They have a job, and then they're doing this on the side, so they can't talk to you during the day.
Right.
You can't just have 9 to 5 and say, okay, I'm not going to answer the phone, after 5. You have to be available to people when they can get to you. I think that's very important. I've heard people say, I don't answer my phone. They can leave a message and I call them back. But I think they are missing a chance to help someone.
I concur. I think you need to be available in some way, shape, or form. Now, it might be unrealistic for everyone to answer all the calls that come in, but making that responsive to say, hey, we're not going to let days go by or long periods of time go by without being responsive and being answered makes a big difference.
I think so, because there's so many ways to touch people now. You don't necessarily have to answer the phone, but you can send them a message.
Right.
You can do the text, you can do email. Somehow you should let them know that you're there, right, when they need them.
So one of the things I'm also an advocate for, So we have prospects, right? We also have existing customers. And you mentioned this before. If your existing customers have a need, then they know they could come to you. What are some other ways that you help your existing customers, I guess, understand maybe some things that they didn't know they didn't know?
Well, I talk to them probably every month
Mm-hmm.
about what I see
Mm-hmm.
and what they should be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So they almost know exactly what they're not seeing. Maybe a marketing they need to go this way. Maybe you can promote yourself a little bit more, promote your product if your sale is going down. Maybe there is you can get on eBay. You can do podcasts.
Right.
Yeah, like that. So
Wonderful. So taking time, as you
mhm.
mentioned earlier, you understand your customers, taking time to connect with them and helping them see different ways that they can improve.
Yeah.
That's a good differentiator too, because there are a lot of people who just will get the service done and then they're doing what they've asked to be done, but it's limiting the full potential because they're not sharing other
Their
ways that that
insight.
person can improve.
Yeah, because you can, sometimes when you get in the middle of things and every day, you're doing this day and out, day in and day out, you're working in a store, you cannot see because you're in there.
Mm-hmm.
There might be an opportunity out here to maybe you can go and create an e-commerce site, to promote yourself. There's so many things that you could see, that someone might not see. Like you might be able to see things that I can't see, so
Oh,
you can help me.
so that's exactly the idea here. So point being, people who are tuned in, it's always good to get a fresh perspective,
Yes.
reaching out to a guide, getting some helpful insights. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily hire that guide if there is not a need, but I'm always an advocate for getting a fresh perspective. So, we're going to go into our advisors picks section of this interview. And this is a kind of a hot fire, quick sort of thing where I'll just bring up a little topic. And then if you have something that you would like to share with the audience, that's what we're looking to do, is just get some of your picks. And the first one we've got is a productivity tool. Do you have a
Oh,
productivity tool
productivity
that you
tool.
like?
Okay. All right. For security, for accounting companies, security is the most important.
Mhm.
So I think my pick is CyberArk. It is available to us through Practice Protect,
Okay.
and it is employed by used by probably half of the Fortune 500, but it is available to us small business as well, and so I recommend that. And then I like HubSpot
Okay.
for communication and
Yes.
customer management. And then ClickUp is good for project tracking. Let me
All right.
see. What else do I
You're
have?
going for extra credit. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Um, so if you're tuning in, those are all these things are worth checking out.
right.
Sometimes it's
And then the Ring Central have a very good unified communication system. Zoom is good, and then Microsoft SharePoint
wow.
to work with Teams, and then the Microsoft Team Vista. That is really good because you would be able to see your overall company progress in it. So it's
Super
worth exploring.
super cool. What is a thank you. Um,
Mhm.
what is a book that maybe you would like to share when you've read before, when you're reading now, just something that you thought was
I
would be
read
helpful.
I read a Black Box Thinking. I like that because it gave me a new perspective. And then I read 5 Dysfunctional Team. And that kind of triggered my thought about teamwork and helping my managers. And then not too long ago, I found this book called Designing Your Work Life and Designing Your Life by Bill Barnett and Dave Evans. Those are 2 books that I am getting into now. And
so the Dysfunctional Team book, what was the name of that one?
5 Dysfunctional
5?
5, yeah. 5 Dysfunctional of the Team.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome. So the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Got it. Super cool. Patrick Lencioni.
Yeah.
I've read one of his books, but I had not read that one. Definitely worth checking out. All right. So then we're going into an event. So you mentioned good old Scaling New Heights earlier.
Yeah, I recommend it highly. Anybody in business should go. Scaling New Heights, QuickBooks Connect, and then Accountant Summit, and NATP's tax conferences that we attend. I don't think everybody would want to go there, but tax accountants should go there.
What was that last one?
NATP, National Association of Tax Preparer.
Okay.
It's a tax conference, so if you're not in this business, I don't think you want to go, but that's what we attend.
Sure. Well, sometimes if you're looking to build relationships with tax professionals, that's a good event to go to.
Especially if you're in sales, come on by.
Right. So, awesome. So now we're looking at an online show. It could be a podcast, a YouTube channel, or so just something that you might thought that was interesting to tune in that maybe others might appreciate.
Well, one is Growth Amplifier.
Yay!
And one is Main Street Business by Mark Kohler.
Cool.
He's a CPA and a tax accountant, and he talks about how to legally save money on taxes. So everybody should listen to him.
Oh, definitely. That is a good one. Thank you, by the way, for the wonderful little
it's called
plug.
Main Street Business.
Main Street?
Main Street.
Main Street?
Business.
All right.
Mark Kohler is his name. And NPR's Indicator. That is a good one that talks about stocks and bonds and things like that. And then Accounting Today, they have a pretty good podcast on different subjects of accounting. And then Impact Pricing. That is a good podcast that you can listen to when you are selling. You know, you want to price your services, price your product. It's a good information that they can provide.
Super cool. Our last little advisors picks is thought leader. And so if it's maybe someone you know, maybe that they might be a good guest for the show, someone that you feel like is doing a really good job in their industry, just a thought leader you might want to share.
Well, Brad Smith, he just left Intuit, but he's a thought leader that is a very good person to talk to. And then, of course, you had Joe Woodard. I had Joe on the list, and then Ted Callahan is from Intuit. He is Intuit accounting segment leader, but he's a very dynamic speaker, and you might want to talk to him. And then I have Sadhguru. He's my spiritual leader.
Oh, really cool.
Yes, and I follow Isha Foundation. I belong to Isha Foundation, and I practice yoga daily. and I practice authentic Hindu yoga. It's not American yoga.
Oh, that's
And
really cool.
yeah, and I follow his philosophy a lot.
And the name again?
Sadhguru, Sadhguru.
Okay.
You can find him on YouTube. I mean, he is dynamic.
Thank you. All right. So we're wrapping up our little show here.
Okay.
And so if you'd like to learn more, we would encourage you to go to brilliantsolutionsgroup.com. That's brilliantsolutionsgroup.com. Now you'll notice on the website, they do offer a complimentary consultation if you're looking for ways to improve your business. But also on the website, they have a great blog with updates on policy, pro accounting tips, QuickBooks tutorials, software reviews, and more. So it's definitely worth checking out. That's brilliantsolutionsgroup.com. So I'd highly suggest you checking that out. And Mariko, you've been a wonderful guest, shared a lot of great insights in the advisor's picks section, which is awesome. I highly appreciate that. And one of the traditions we have at the end of Growth Amplifiers is just for you to share something that you'd like to share that you've learned on your journey that may be helpful for others on theirs. It doesn't have to be business related or accounting related, just something that you've learned on your journey that would be helpful for others to hear.
Okay, one is that you never be satisfied with what you know. You need to keep learning and keep up with the technology. That's very important. And then another thing is on the sale front, don't just talk to your prospect. Map your prospect journey from the time they look at you on the website or the Googling you or whatever. Map that each steps, and then you can see where you need to improve the communication to the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you could improve the sales. Where am I losing their interest? So that's very important, map the journey all the way to becoming a client.
I love it. You're going to get that as a shining highlight because that's directly in our language. We're super advocates for mapping the journey of your client.
Mm-hmm.
Your client they are at where they're at and you want to get them to where they want to go. And the only way to do that is to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than being the flight of the bumblebee, like, where is this thing going? You can have a direct route. So awesome. Thank you again. I appreciate it. You've been a great guest.
Thank you.
This has been awesome.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.